Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another beer review. Hope you're all well. We've got a supermarket beer now, and it's an IPA from a brewery that used to be loved, and the branding used to be loved. And since then, Marstons have taken over. The branding's changed, the beer's changed, and they're not so loved now. But we've got one of their beers. So if you like, it's almost like a budget sort of beer to a certain extent. And I think I got it from Sainsbury's, but it could have been Morrison's. I can't remember now. I think it coming at £1.90. And the beer we are looking at is from Wychwood Brewery, owned by Marstons, and it's a bottle of Hobgoblin IPA coming in at 5.3%. 500ml bottle. Like I say, £1.90. The branding has changed slightly. It's still that sort of goblin thing, but a little bit less rough around the edges. There's the bottle cap, which I do like. And it's a slightly different shaped bottle, isn't it? It sort of goes out and then tapers in at the bottom and then gets really wide at the arse end. So, I don't have a Hobgoblin glass. I've got an Adams one, so we're going to bang it in there. Let's get it cracked open and see what we get. This has just come out of the fridge, so it is cold. Is it going to be too cold? I don't know. Let's see what we get with this one. I think I've reviewed a few Wychwood Brewery beers, Hobgoblin range. A couple have been alright, and a couple haven't, I would say. You've got to expect this to be a traditional sort of beer. And it is looking like that. So, beer in a glass. Amber in colour. Wild carbonation from the glass because it's nucleated on the bottom. We've got a nice compact white head. You can't complain with that, does it? It looks like a decent beer, doesn't it? So let's try and dive in on the nose without spilling any, which that's going to be quite hard because I got a bit carried away with pouring. See what we get on the nose. There is a little hoppiness in there, but it does smell a little bit skunky, if you like. And bearing in mind, it's a brown glass as well, but it does smell a little bit. That is wearing off a bit. There is a fruity side to it. Malty, a little bit hoppy. Maybe even a touch of caramel in there, but it's quite hard to swill it because it's just going to go everywhere. So let's go in with the taste and see what the Hobgoblin IPA gives us. 5.3%. Cheers. Yeah, I mean, body-wise, that creamy head does help. It gives it a creamy feel. The body of the actual beer does feel quite sort of heavy. Not massively heavy, but it does feel quite dense. It does feel like you're drinking something, at least. And as busy as it looks in the glass, as you can see, you hardly feel any of that. You literally don't feel that carbonation in the beer as you drink it. Yeah, you do feel it slightly, but it is virtually non-existent, certainly as you drink it. It's smooth. On the taste, it's got that bit of a typical sort of Marstons feel to it. Yeah, typical Marstons thing going on in there. It is malty, it is hoppy. You do get that fruitiness in there, and that is all followed by that typical Marstons taste, which is always a bit of a downside. I think it's like anything. If you drink a beer, sometimes I think the back end is the big thing that you remember, because it's the last thing you sort of taste. And it sort of tastes like every other beer that they've done. I'm going to open the curtain a little bit. Not because I'm being nosy, but I'm just a bit more light. But yeah, it's got that fruity IPA sort of taste. It is quite light on that sort of taste. It's not wishy-washy light, but the flavours there are typical sort of traditional sort of IPA sort of light. This has got a little bit more than some of the other traditional ones, 5.3%. I'm just waiting for that little bit extra. There's a little bit of grapefruit in there maybe. It's gently bitter. It's the sort of beer that is going to appeal to people who go into a pub and like their old school beers with a bit more. I mean, we look at a lot of IPAs now with their juiciness and this, that and the other. Less malty maybe, a lot of IPAs that are produced now. This still has that malty backbone to it. Pardon me, that's a belter, that one, isn't it? Yeah, this is typical sort of standard pub sort of IPA stuff. But what do I think of it? £1.90, 500ml bottle, 5.3%. It's not expensive. Don't expect a craft experience. Why would you? Hobgoblin, Wychwood, Marstons, you're not going to expect that. But it does give you that IPA feel, really. And I think traditional beers, as traditional beers go, I think this is quite decent, you know, especially as a mass-produced traditional sort of style of beer. Yes, it's got that traditional feel to it. It's got that extra hoppiness to it that gives it a little bit more flavour. I think, you know, for what it is and for the price you're paying, it's not a bad beer. You know, you got to expect what you got to expect from certain beers, haven't you? And this one, yeah, I think it does the job. So, Wychwood Breweries, or Marstons if you like, Hobgoblin IPA, 5.3%. If you're old school and you like an IPA, this is going to be up your street. If you're craft beer side thing and you're not keen on the old school stuff, it's not going to be for you. But like I say, £1.90, 5.3%, 500ml bottle. I think you're getting a half decent pint there. So yeah, that's it for this beer review. They're my views. I've waffled on through it. I don't know how the hell I've done it. But if you've had the beer before, let me know what you think. Feel free to comment. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you again soon on another one. Cheers.